What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's TV review of WandaVision Episode 9, the series finale. Now, before we begin, if you like this channel, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like the video, awesome, hit that like button, as well as commenting below on any video that you watch, including this one. Okay, so this episode was always going to be very fascinating with what it was trying to do, how much it had to wrap up, and how it was going to place itself in people's theories and ideas. And this is always going to happen with a TV series that's anticipated and well loved as this series has become. And so with that said, I thought the episode was great. I thought the episode had a lot of heart. It had a lot of action. It had a lot of, tense moments. And it was an episode that had to wrap up 8 weeks of mythology that had basically boomed the Marvel Cinematic Universe into a new kind of dimension. And I think it did it perfectly. Now, it's going to put off a lot of people because a lot of people had different theories about what was going to happen. But it was kind of anticlimactic in a lot of ways, just on the simple fact of, we have all this kind of build up with Agatha and, who she is. And she wants all of Wanda's powers and she wants all her, everything for her, but she'll leave her in, Westview and stuff like that. And it basically becomes like a Dragon Ball Z type fight where they're like flying through the air and, basically, Wanda is, fighting her, but every time Wanda uses her powers, of course, Agatha takes her powers and she starts like seeing like a gray hand and stuff like that. And, she's being reduced to nothingness and, it's pretty crazy to watch. And then, the kids are, basically told to go to their house and keep safe and stuff like that. And it's really kind of interesting because, what Wanda wants is just a home. She wants somewhere to be. She's never had a home, in the family that she had died, and it was really sad, really depressing to see that she can't truly be here because she's ruining people's lives. And she sees that when she opens up the hex, and basically the reason she does that is because all the people are there, as Agatha says, she's cut the strings of their mind manipulation, I guess you could say. And the people are like, please just tell my husband, or please just tell my kid I love them and I'll do whatever you want, just please. Or some people are like, let me go, I'm sorry. And it's really, really kind of sad, depressing to see. It really is. But she opens up the hex to allow him to leave. But the thing that she notices is, of course, that Vision and the kids are starting to dissipate, which has always been the idea that these three individuals are tied to the hex itself, tied to the magic that she has created. So there's no way that they are going to survive the end of the series. And it's just the unfortunate nature of the events, because Wanda is a good person and she has kind of realized that she needs to let go. And, it's always been the heartbreaking thing to see about Wanda, is about, about the tragedy of who she is. You call it her entire arc the tragedy of Wanda Maximoff, because she lost her brother, she lost her family, she lost everything, lost 5 years. And, it makes a lot of sense. Even Monica at the end of the season is like, I would have done the same thing. If I had your powers, I would have brought my mother back. And it's just the power of wanting, your family is more powerful than the magic you use. And any of us, if we lost, the family we've lost, the animals we've lost, the everything, we would do anything to bring it back. And that's exactly what the series has always been about, is not only Wanda's ability to gain new powers, which she does by sucking the life out of Agatha at the end, but it's about her trying to find herself and who she is, and trying to bring back everything that has been taken from her. And that's why, Vision and to an extent Pietro were brought into the mix, because it leans on her emotion and her heart and so on and so forth. So I cannot be remiss to have the biggest, funniest joke in the episode, which is very juvenile. There was a segment where Monica is being held by Pietro. We know that, of course, Agatha's controlling him, and she's trying to escape. And it's really kind of, like I said, it's very juvenile, but she finds a headshot of Pietro, and this is very much a joke that plays off Evan Peters as a character, an actor, but she sees a headshot and she sees that Pietro's name Ralph Boner. Depending on what you think about the idea of that character and stuff like that, but it proves that he's being manipulated, and it's in his beads that he's wearing around his neck and stuff like that. And he of course comes out of it. He's like, "What the heck's going on?" And she's like, "Hello, Ralph Boner." And to me personally, I thought it was funny. It's very juvenile, but sometimes you gotta have juvenile humor. But that's neither here or there. But it was pretty funny. I enjoyed it. So Evan Peters' character in WandaVision's name Ralph Boner. So take that for what take that for what you will. So, but like I said, it's a really great idea of what they're doing. Like I said, most of the episode, Agatha's on top of the building, kind of egging Wanda on to get her powers. And at some point, Wanda goes up in the air and she disappears, as she can do. She can dissipate and stuff like that. And what's cool is she uses her powers, which I don't think we've really ever seen since Age of Ultron. I've been saying, like, Age of Ultron has been brought into a new light because of this TV series, and they brought a lot of ideas and ideologies back from that to make that. They're trying to make that movie much, much better than it truly will ever be. But she uses that mind, thing where she kind of puts herself into the brain or the mind, or tricking the mind of Agatha. And it actually backfires on her. Because the Scarlet Witch is something that has always been feared by witches in general, and it's interesting to see like how it backfires. And they end up doing, like I said, doing their Super Saiyan thing, and they're fighting and blah blah blah. And one thing that Wanda is very, very smart, and very, very, she may cause a lot of issues, but she's smart, and she learned from Agatha when Agatha's taken all her powers and she's starting to look like an old decrepit old woman. Wanda uses the last of her powers to create sigils, stuff like that, on the walls of the hex, which causes Agatha to lose her powers, which was kind of awesome, to be fairly honest. And she basically absorbs all of Agatha's powers, all of her powers back, and we see a new Scarlet Witch. And the Scarlet Witch gets a new, Wanda gets a brand new costume that's very much in line, but more up to date with her old costume. So she's got like the horn stuff and the nice, costume that Marvel's known for doing when they update stuff. So I like that new look. And she actually spares, for the most part, Agatha's character, which, usually these characters would die off. But I really like the fact that Marvel kind of held a little back, and they actually saved Agatha for possibly a future endeavor, where basically Wanda, as she's dissipating the hex to basically bring it back into Westview so people can go back to their normal lives, which will never happen, she basically makes Agatha the nosy neighbor that she's always been, and she's going to be stuck in this reality until Wanda wants to bring her back and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see if Kathryn Hahn pops up in, of course, any of the other Marvel movies, if she's used in the other Marvel movies, which I hope she is, because she has been fantastic in this whole entire series, and I love every second of what Kathryn Hahn's doing. But Kathryn Hahn's always been great as an actress. She's just really been given the chance to shine and stuff like here and stuff like that. So I don't know if this means anything, but the billboard that is in the background as Agatha is kind of floating, it looks like a Pine Sol ad, but it almost reminds me of something that it was like pine cones and trees. Are they hinting at Squirrel Girl? I mean, I don't know, maybe, possibly. I mean, I thought that was kind of funny, but there's that billboard, which if you look at it, you might kind of laugh a little bit, so you don't know what they're doing. But before we get to like the concluding part of the story, we have Vision versus Vision, which is a pretty incredible fight, to be fairly honest. It's going to put off a lot of people because Paul Bettany, as a mistake, said there was a huge character that coming up that was going to be one of his favorites, and it basically was him versus him. But the fight's awesome. It's very well done. It leads into the ship of Theseus or something like that, which I don't know much about. I'm not scholar like that. But the thing that kind of was incredible about it is at some point Vision, the one that we've been seeing through the TV series, confronts the Gray Vision and is basically like, I'm not really Vision, which causes the Gray Vision to kind of think, because Gray Vision was there to dissipate the Vision. And they get into this like theological debate, which was incredible. It was my favorite part of the episode, because they start, like I said, kind of talking about the Theseus, stuff like that. And I guess it has to do with rotten stuff and whatnot. And Vision, the one that we'd known, basically puts his hand or his finger up to Gray Vision's crystal or whatever it is, and he gives all the memories to the Vision, the Gray Vision, which kind of helps Paul Bettany in future movies and TV series because it gives him an extended life. It's giving this new Gray Vision the ability to kind of compensate, comprehend, and kind of learn from everything that happened to Vision and himself. And what's great about it is we see all those clips of everything that's happened to Vision, what he's gone through, the Thanos and Ultron stuff, and it was a heartbreaking moment because we know the Vision that we know is going to have to die off, and it's a really great moment, and it's like one of my favorite moments in the series, just for the simple fact of what Vision is trying to instill in Gray Vision is you don't have to be under control, you can be who you need to be. And of course Gray Vision flies off and to do whatever he needs to do, but like I said, it allows Paul Bettany to really expand and really extend how good of an actor he is, and he does a really nice job with the role. And it leads into, like I said, the hex is being disintegrated or dissipated after everything Wanda has done. They take the two kids, they take Vision and Wanda, go back to their house, which is, the house that she created in I think episode 9, as we saw. And in the process of everything that we see, we really get the most heartbreaking stuff in the entire series. Once again, Wanda is going to lose Vision in a sense because she created this Vision, but they put the kids to bed. We know the kids are gone. It's sad. It's really cool to see these two kids. They had fun with what they were doing. They weren't the most well-rounded characters, but they were part of Wanda's heart, but they're put to bed. She knows what's going to happen, and she goes downstairs with Vision, and basically Vision asks, "Who am I?" And she explains, "You're my soul, my heart, my blood, my love." And it was a really touching moment. I actually was tearing up a little bit because, as weird as it feels with her and Vision being an android or AI or whatever you want to call him, he really was a lifeblood character for her. It was her way of coping with everything that happened because he had the Mind Stone, or the Mind Stone, or the whatever stone he had. She was able to find something in her life that was good, and that's what she tells him, and he finally realizes who he is. And as they sit there and hug and kiss and do whatever they need to do, the hex dissipates everything, and of course we see a really cool kind of wraparound shot of Vision basically disintegrating. The kids we don't see because that would have been just depressing, but she's left in the middle of the house that was never built, and she kind of walks off and walks into town, and all the people are staring at her and very menacingly, and their lives have been changed forever and they'll never be the same. And like I said, during the episode, Hayward's and his crew is able to get into the town, but I don't think Hayward really understands the power of love. I guess you could say the power of what a mutant or what Wanda is. And it was really fun seeing the two kids like take on the individuals and the military and all that good stuff. And then on top of that, Hayward's overmatched and he gets beat by Darcy running to his own truck and stuff like that. And we see, of course, Monica and some more of her powers. Apparently bullets can be stopped, going through her and stuff like that. And it's really a lot of fun to see. But at the very end, Monica and Wanda have their kind of talk, and we, find out that, everything's cool and for the most part. And Wanda goes off to do whatever she needs to do. And that's kind of the end of the episode. And that's going to put off a lot of people because people are going to be like, "Oh, I wanted more. What is this?" And that's always going to be, like I said, that was always the problem with the series, is if it's only one season, which is what it was supposed to be, it's not going to be satisfying for a lot of people. And it's just the unfortunate nature. But, it's a series that really, truly kind of was playing off how good of an actress Elizabeth Olsen has become and how she has made this role her own and how powerful she is in this role. And, to watch her kind of go through the emotions, from the very beginning, she had this very weird sense about her in the whole 50s and 60s and how everything was kind of slowly starting to kind of fall apart. And it finally came to the conclusion where she was like, she can't handle the fact that this world is dissipating and is not hers. And then she finally comes to kind of a cathartic end where she realizes that she just has to kind of find herself. And it's a really emotional thing to watch, and it's really powerful. And I do agree. I think Elizabeth Olsen should get an Emmy nomination for the role, because it's a well-written character, and it's made her one of the best characters in the MCU. And and not without Paul Bettany as well. Paul Bettany is an amazing actor, but this is, of course, I mean, Kathryn Hahn may get an Emmy nomination, I'm not sure, but this is Elizabeth Olsen's show, and the people around her are just kind of the players and stuff like that. So, but I also like how Jimmy Woo calls Quantico and stuff like that. And he has his small little moments and whatnot. But there are two end stingers in this. There's a mid-credit stinger and there's an end stinger, where the mid-credit stinger is, of course, Jimmy Woo is doing his thing with the FBI. They're trying to get everything under control, and Monica is basically taken by an FBI agent to see someone in the theater. And there's like writing on the theater, but I'm not exactly sure if that has any kind of saying in the Marvel world. I don't know if that means anything, so you're gonna have to kind of keep me up to date with that kind of stuff. But and so Monica is taken to this theater where, in essence, she is going, where's this person I'm supposed to meet? And then we learn, or we see the FBI agent that brought her into the theater is a Skrull. And it's been a thing that's been ongoing ever since like Captain America and stuff like that, where Sam Jackson has always been a Skrull. And we find out the actual Sam Jackson Fury character has been up in space for how long I have no idea. But she's like, the Skrull's like, we have an old friend of your mother's, and she's like, where is he? And the Skrull points up, and that leads into Captain Marvel 2. Basically, this is the starting point, or the backdoor pilot for Captain Marvel 2, which is not saying it's a little self-deprecating or whatever you want to call it, but it was funny. I enjoyed it. It's like we're leading into Captain Marvel 2, to whatever that is, so we know Monica Rambeau is going into that direction. And just to be safe, I skipped a forward in the credits. I really appreciate the credits, but they're always like 12 minutes long, and I want to get this review out. But we get one more credit scene, and it's Wanda in a much kind of rendition of her own version of Thanos, sitting down on this cabin in the middle of nowhere. She looks happy and content, and basically what is happening is she's projecting herself, and we see her in the bedroom with her Scarlet Witch outfit, and she's like above the floor, she's like floating, and she's looking through a book, like a mystical magical book. She's doing powers and stuff like that, and basically she hears her children. And what that means, I have no idea. I really don't. I'm not that versed in Marvel lore, but it's going to lead into, I'm assuming, Doctor Strange, which is what I've heard, or Spider-Man, one of the two. But anyways, she's going to be in Doctor Strange. And I think, if I had any theories, I think what is going on is she's learning the mystical arts of multiversium, which is not a word, but she's going to open up some kind of crazy multiverse, which is what Doctor Strange, I think, is going to be about, is the multiverse of madness. And she's going to do something where she brings the kids into this world, and Doctor Strange is going to have to fix it. So the idea of Wanda being the bad guy in this phase is very, very possible, but that's how the series ends, with her basically hearing her children and going to do something that's going to affect Doctor Strange too. So that's how the series ends, with the leads up to Captain Marvel 2 and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So overall, I thought, like I said, the episode was pretty fantastic. I really do. A lot of people aren't going to like the episode, but that was already predicted, because you can't make everyone happy, and that's just the unfortunate fact. But I think this series has proven Marvel can go to places and go to depths and darkness and ways and material that makes them truly unique as a company. And I think what they did here is create something very different and very unique, and they still kept the Marvel touch, I guess you could say. We see some really good action for a TV series with this budget, is allowed to do some really cool action. And overall, I'm giving the episode another 10, because it's just an incredible episode. Whether other people say, I don't know, but the series as a whole, it started out to me pretty strong, had a little bit of a dip, and finished out as one of my favorite things that Marvel's ever done. That's how I'm going to look at it, and I'm giving the series a 9.5 out of 10, just for everything that it's done. If they did another season, I wouldn't be surprised, but at this point, as a contained limited series, it's a truly remarkable piece of material. And everybody involved, Matt Shankman, all the writers, Kevin Feige, Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, Kathryn Hahn, Jimmy Randall Park. It's fantastic. It really is. So there are a lot of Easter eggs, I'm sure, that other people will point out. There's a lot more in-depth commentary I'm sure a lot of people will talk about in the future goings with this series, because it's going to bring up a lot of debate and topics about exactly what's happening for the future of Marvel with all the things that happened in the pandemic, and this being the first official thing for Phase 4. I think they are on a pretty good footing. I'm really intrigued by what they're going to do next, and of course we have Falcon and Winter Soldier coming up, and we have Loki coming up, and like I said, Black Widow, Doctor Strange, Shang-Chi, Eternals. It's going to be insane this year for Marvel. So but yeah, to start out with here, it's good stuff. So 9.5 out of 10. That's my take on the series. So but that'll do it. That's my take on the episode, which is of course the series finale, which is episode 9 of WandaVision. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the episode. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was the worst thing you've ever seen? Did you think it was the best thing you've ever seen? Either way, let me know in the comments below. But if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find out what's coming next. If you like the video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.